Let me continue. Michael Burry from the movie Big Short. He predicted the 2008 market housing crash. He recently compared a market slump to a plane crash and said the tumbling stocks and home sales remind him of the housing bubble bursting. As I said about 2008, it's like watching a plane crash. He said it hurts, it's not fun, and I'm not smiling. He said on Twitter recently, Burry shot to fame after he made a fortune betting on the housing market crash in 2007 and 8 and made a fortune betting on it. Burry also predicted the next market crash will dwarf the 2008 bust, which sparked the global financial crisis. Now, here you may say he has some motive here because he's involved in the next one. You may be right, but he was able to predict the last one, and people thought he was crazy. He was able to say some of these big companies are going to go out of business. They thought he was crazy. He ended up being right. They made a movie about him, and many of us watched it. The other day on my Instagram account for PBD Podcast, I said there's two movies everybody's got to watch in America today, Margin Call and Big Short. The video on Instagram got 500,000 likes, 11 million views. Why do you think everyone's trying to find out what the hell is going on with the economy? This is on an Instagram account with only 45,000 followers. I got 40-some thousand followers. It's not even my main account. It's just our podcast account. Everybody is curious to find out what's going on today. So now, let me keep going. I'm still going to explain to you the quantitative tightening and easing, but here's Mark Zuckerberg. Love him or hate him. If I had to bet, I'd say that this might be one of the worst downturns that we've seen in recent history. Zuckerberg said in a weekly employee Q&A session, audio of which was heard by Reuters. FYI, why would an employer tell their employees, this is the worst we're going to see ever? Why would you say that? Isn't the CEO and the founder supposed to uplift everybody? Aren't they? It's like everything's going to be okay. Good for him to just being straight up with their employees. Now, again, tell me, what's the benefit of him saying that? Motive. What's the benefit of him saying that? As a result of the expected downturn, Meta has reduced its hiring goal for 2022 from 10,000 engineers to 6,000 to 7,000. Zuckerberg also indicated his hope that individuals who weren't making the cut will end up leaving the company. Remember that whole cycle? Less disposable income, less spending, lower profits, layoffs, unemployment. Do you see what's going on with that cycle? This is kind of what the explanation of that cycle is. So now Google. The uncertain global economic outlook has been top of our mind. On top of mind, like all companies, we're not immune to economic headwinds. We'll be slowing the pace of hiring for the rest of the year while still supporting our most important opportunities. Google needs to be more entrepreneurial, working with greater urgency, sharper focus, and more hunger than we've shown on sunnier days. And then we have our friend here, Dave Ramsey. Inflation is not going to kill you. He's right. It's not going to kill you physically. It's not going to happen. So that's a factual statement. Fear porn comments talking about everybody is trying to, it's going to be all right, folks. It's going to be all right. It's not always as simple as supply and demand, but it almost always is. That's why this situation is not the same as 2008. Facts and evidence support why today's real estate market is not going to crash. He may be right, but someone's going to be right and someone's going to be wrong in the next 6, 12, 18 months. He just may be right. But to listen to what our friend here, Dave, has to say, that means you have to say Jamie Dimon is wrong, Michael Burry is wrong, and a lot of these other guys that this is their business, what they do for a living, that they have access to more data points. A Chase has access to the kind of data maybe a handful of companies have access to. Google, Facebook, Chase, these may be top 3 out of 5 companies in the world that have access to more data than any other company. Maybe Amazon has to go in there and Apple's got to go in there. They kind of can see some of these things taking place.
So if you like this clip and you want to watch another one, click right here. And if you want to watch the entire podcast, click right here.